developing for quite some years already, and you're very active in the Toronto area, organizing meetups there. So what's your primary focus on the Azure stack?
On the Azure, mostly around the IoT solutions and also managed services, Azure SQL Azure and Azure Functions serverless. That's my area of focus.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of serverless myself as well. Very cool. Yeah. And how are you doing your meetups these days? Also now all virtual?
Yeah, unfortunately these days is all online, and we really miss the face-to-face meetings, right? It's yeah, but it's a monthly meetup, and I'm an organizer of a Metro Toronto user group in Toronto with a great team, and we have a monthly meetup each month, pretty much. Everything is around .NET, Azure, and what Microsoft has on the development platform.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I've really learned a lot about also hosting and online events, and learning a lot of tools about streaming and things like that. So I'm pretty sure you were in the same boat there, and also learned a lot of new skills the last month. So yeah, there's some benefits of doing all these things online. You have to learn some new skills.
Yes, actually, that's right. And we had a couple of great meetup here in Canada. One was across Canada-wide, between all of the user group in Canada.
Oh,
which
nice.
was huge success. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that must have had like lots and lots of attendees. Then that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you're going to talk about the Azure IoT Hub and a pre-built solution accelerator. So very curious about that. I haven't done too much with IoT Hub, so probably going to learn a lot again. So the stage is yours.
All right, thank you. So hi everyone. Let me just turn the camera. So today we are going to look at Azure IoT Hub, and specifically we focus around the messaging and also some pre-built solution template for Azure IoT solution on Azure. A little bit about me. My name is Ehsan Eskandari. I am a senior consultant, currently providing service to a great company named New Signature. Sorry, say that again? Sure. And I've been Microsoft MVP on Azure last 3 years. And also I help Microsoft learn to develop and refresh some Azure certification, including Azure IoT Developer, and Azure Data Analyst, and Azure 203. I'm specifically excited about Azure IoT Developer Specialty Certification, since I was personally involved with Microsoft from beginning to end developing this Azure IoT certification. I'm also an active member of a community, Metro Toronto.NET user group, which I'm the organizer, and also I would call this user group my home user group, especially with a lot of great content around Microsoft platform. So we are going to start off by talking about what Internet of Things really is, and we clarify some terms and concepts in order to understand how IoT solution works. And next, we will talk about IoT messaging and different type of messaging protocols and communication, and some consideration around designing messaging protocol in your IoT solution. Then we look into Azure IoT Hub and how to register device, submit messages from device to cloud and cloud to device. And finally, we look into Solution Accelerator as a project template and great starting point for any IoT solution. So what is IoT? IoT, we can break down IoT in the following areas. There are things, so there are sensors, there are devices, and also actual physical device that will have to have all the capability that may or may not have existed, including different kind of communications, different type of storage, many other capabilities that may not have existed because they have been mostly dumb device. Secondly, those devices needs to have connectivity. There are different protocols for connecting to the gateway, to the cloud, to be considered. And then the most important part is why we are talking about things and their connectivity if we cannot collect data. What are those devices recording, and what are the interaction that is happening between the external environment and those devices? The data has to be captured, it has to be processed, so that ultimately we can make sense of the data, and that is when analytics comes into the picture. And analytics allows us to monitor what the things are doing. Also, when you have a historical data, you can do scenario like predictive maintenance. You can do what-if analysis in those devices and those environment that they are monitoring. Now let's talk about IoT space and opportunity. There is huge opportunity here, which I'm pretty sure not a surprise to any of you. 73% of companies surveys are actively investing in IoT. 41% of companies are using data to make informed and timely decisions. And millions and billions of dollars is the actually is $100 million the average increase in the enterprise operating income. There has been a tons of growth for the Internet of Things in recent years. This is due to a few key factors around things like developer tools. Programming these embedded devices have been extremely easy to use over these recent years. This is greatly help reduce overall development time. And also the internet is everywhere, and this allows a connected device to be put almost anywhere in the planet. And also Microsoft Azure and the cloud have created an ecosystem where it is extremely affordable and easy to build backend system to power the computing, processing, and analysis and the storage if necessary for all the collected data by the IoT solution. So the cloud really enabled the big data side of IoT solution. This all allows from a powerful and capable device to be built that is much smaller and more affordable than ever have been before. Like any other solution, there are general challenges in IoT solution, security, privacy, interoperability, and also over-the-air upgrades, and also huge data volumes, real-time, actionable insight, complex event processing, and many more challenging IoT. As an example for data challenge, let's have a glance on the number here. As you can see, a connected car can generate 4 terabytes of data per day, and we are talking about more than 200 sensors for each car. So that's the volume we are talking about here. And we have also challenges around like data processing. It's not only the volume, it's also the processing, which some of them is insufficient bandwidth, and also issue in the connectivity, perishable data, high latency, security and compliance, and also no real-time insight. So what is the solution for this issue? The solution is distributed or decentralized processing of the data. Unlike the cloud-based model where all the data was sent to the cloud, we now send only selected data to the cloud. We need processing closer to the data. So as you can see in the slide, there are two solutions. One is centralized on the cloud-based, and also the other solution is the edge computing, where we have the computation, we have the power, we have the logic more closer to the sensors, so that and also that help us in terms of the compliance and privacy. So with the data in the cloud, we have remote monitoring and management, merging remote data from multiple IoT devices, and we have access to infinite compute and storage to train machine learning and other advanced AI tools. So these are the great stuff around having our solution on the cloud. On the other side, on the other key point is the consistency, and that is you don't need to have a developer expert here. For example, on the edge, we have low latency. We have pre-processed data on premise, and also we have intelligence at the edge. We can have a machine learning module on the edge. We can have a streaming module, a stream processing module at the edge, and also we have offline operations. We have protocol translation and data normalization, and also, like I said before, privacy of data and protecting of IP is other great feature for IoT on the edge. So now let's talk about IoT solution messaging. There are two different type of messaging in the cloud with the Internet of Things solution. We have device to cloud messaging, which allows you to send telemetry or messages from IoT device up into the cloud, such as sensor reading, temperature, humidity, motion sensor, and other type of sensor. This lets you feed the data into a message queue for processing. And also there is the cloud to device messaging, which allows you to send message from the cloud down to the device. These are often command and control message, like turn on, turn off the device, and enabling the device, shutting down the device, and different things like that control what the device does. Also, we have different protocol. IoT message communication is enabled through the messaging protocol. The MQTT, or Message Queue Telemetry Transport Protocol, is the messaging protocol, which is specifically designed for IoT use. It is a lightweight and simple protocol, and it supports both publish and subscribe messaging, enabling it to be used with a two-way messaging scenario. MQTT was also designed to minimize bandwidth, which can be useful for high message volume and throughput scenarios, as well as helping keep resource requirement down on low power devices. We also have other type of protocol. We have the AMQP, Advanced Messaging Queue Protocol, is an industry standard messaging queue protocol. It is used with message queue, but it can also be used with IoT scenario. Then there is also protocol like standard traditional web protocol, HTTP or HTTPS, as well as messaging protocol like XMPP or other legacy protocol. There are some considerations when designing your IoT solution around the messaging protocol. HTTPS does not have an efficient way to implement server push. As such, when you are using HTTPS, devices pull IoT Hub for cloud-to-device message. This approach is inefficient for both the device and IoT Hub. Under current HTTPS guideline, each device should pull for messages every 20 minutes or more. So that's might be a long time for your solution. You need to consider. The other one is for MQTT and AMQP support server push when receiving cloud-to-device messages. They enable immediate pushes for messages from IoT Hub to the device. If delivery latency is a concern, MQTT or AMQP are the best protocol to use. When using MQTT and HTTPS, you cannot connect multiple devices, each with its own per-device credential using the same TLS connection. For field gateway scenario, that requires one TLS connection between the field gateway and IoT Hub for each connected device. These protocols are suboptimal for those scenarios. Low resource devices. The MQTT and HTTPS libraries have a smaller footprint than the AMQP library. As such, if the device has limited resources, for example, if it's less than 1 megabyte of RAM, this protocol might be the only protocol implementation available for these scenarios. And also for network traversal, the standard AMQP protocol use port 5671 and MQTT listen to port 8883. Use of these ports could cause problems in the network that are close to non-HTTPS protocol. Use MQTT over WebSocket, AMQP over WebSockets or HTTPS in this type of scenario. And the other consideration is payload size. MQTT and AMQP are binary protocol, which result in more compact payloads than HTTPS. Microsoft Azure platform has now let's talk about Microsoft Azure and what Microsoft Azure has to offer when it comes to IoT solution. Microsoft Azure platform has a lot to offer when building IoT solution, and it's a sort of natural direction when you are looking at the high availability and high scalability and also end-to-end security of the solution. This allows you to scale to millions of devices connected, sending millions of messages to the cloud solution. It also allows you to easily integrate with your existing system on the back end. If you have Azure Function, if you have SQL on the cloud, or even infrastructure as a service. So these are all integrated with the Azure Key Vault, with Azure Active Directory. And also it offers the ability to analyze and visualize big data. And it also allows built-in security and device management feature to help you manage the overall security of your solution and individual device as well. So in this diagram, we have a comprehensive set of Azure IoT Solution and Azure Services related to IoT Solution. As you can see at the top of this chart, we have solutions. And under IoT Solutions, we have software as a service. Azure IoT Central is the software as a service product from Microsoft, which can be used for prototyping your solution at the beginning. And also you can go with the platform as a service, which is Azure IoT Solution Accelerator. These are pre-built template project, and we will discuss it in a minute, like remote monitoring and also predictive maintenance, connected factory, and device simulation. And at the bottom, we have different Azure services that can be leveraged in your IoT solution, like Azure IoT Device SDK, Azure IoT Edge, Azure IoT Hub, and you are not limited to this only to these Azure-related, Azure IoT-related services. You can use any other Azure services for your backend. Let's say if you have a volume of the data coming to your Azure IoT Hub, you can also use Azure Stream Analytics, and also you can use Azure Databricks for processing your data. Let's talk about Azure IoT Hub. Azure IoT Hub is the cloud gateway in your Azure IoT solution. If you are to use Microsoft Azure, it's established by directional communication with billions of IoT devices. We will see some demo in terms of cloud to device, device to cloud communication. And also it enhances security with per device authentication. Each device has its own certification and key, and authentication per each device is unique to that particular device. We have a demo and we will see that in action. Provisioning devices at scale with device with the DPS, with IoT Hub device provisioning services. That is a huge plus if you have a lot of devices, like thousands or millions of devices to provision. And also it manages device at a scale with device management. And the other great thing about Azure IoT Hub is multi-language and open source SDK, both on the cloud and on devices, with support for language like Java, C#, and Python, and Node. Here is a diagram that kind of put all the different Azure services that I just mentioned together and how they might relate it to your IoT solution. So to start from the left side, we have an IP-enabled device that may connect directly through IoT Hub or through a gateway. We also have low-power device that may require to use a field gateway or protocol gateway to be connected. And then we have IoT Hub providing the messaging system for device to send telemetry to the cloud, and command and control messages from the cloud back to the device, and more easy device management and security along with monitoring our devices. And from there, the message would flow into something like Azure Stream Analytics to offer real-time streaming processing where the data and events could be split off and copy into that fast or slow path, implementing the Lambda architecture. One path it can go is storage, such as Azure Blob Storage or Azure Data Lake, table storage, SQL Azure, or possible Cosmos DB, or any other available storage solution. And funnel off other direction, possibly from Stream Analytics into Power BI for reporting, and into message queue that would then be handled by a background process like WebJob or Azure Function. We have a demo so that we have the Azure, we have the IoT device submitting the data to the cloud, and also on the cloud we use Azure Service Bus topic, and then we have an Azure function that triggers based on Azure Service Bus topic, and from there the Azure function push the data to the SQL Azure. So let's talk about the messaging with Azure IoT Hub. With Azure IoT Hub, we have support for device to cloud. When sending information from the device app to the solution backend, IoT Hub exposes three options. So these are three types of communication, pretty much when you use the SDK for D2C messaging. The first one is the device to cloud messaging for time series telemetry and alerts. The other one is device twins reported properties for reporting device state information such as available capabilities, condition, or a state of a long-running workflows. For example, configuring a software update. For example, you might have a device twin for the last version of the your firmware or last time it was updated. And the other type is file upload for media files and large telemetry batch, which most of the time being used by gateways. And there is a cloud to device messaging, which allows you to send messages from cloud to device. These are often command and control, like turn on and off the collection of telemetry, enable the device, shut down and device, turn on the device. Again, we have a direct method for communication that requires immediate information for the result. Direct methods are often used for interactive control of the device, such as turning on a fan or turning off the device in case the device was compromised. And also, like device to cloud, we have a twin desired property here for long-running commands intended to put the device into a certain stage. For example, set the telemetry to the device. Let's quickly talk about the Azure IoT pricing. As you can see, the pricing is pretty straightforward. There is a basic tier and a standard tier. For a serious application, you might go with the standard tier. And the difference between the basic and a standard is, as you can see here, is basic doesn't support IoT Edge, and also it doesn't support cloud to device messaging and device management with the device twin. If you have a more serious IoT solution, you definitely go with the standard tier, and it's not that expensive. Now let's talk about Azure IoT Solution Accelerator. These are formerly was packaged as Azure IoT Suite, which is a collection of multiple Azure services that works very, very well together when building an IoT solution. These services allow you to collect data from device, and also allows you to analyze data, allows you to store and query large data set, and also it lets you visualize the data, real-time data and historical data. And also you can integrate your solution with your backend systems. And Azure IoT Solution Accelerator is made up of these key Azure services, Azure IoT Hub and Stream Analytics, Machine Learning, and Power BI. And these are pretty much a great starting point for your solution. And with these solutions, you get the infrastructure code and the solution code, and both are available in Java and C#. So with the pre-configured IoT solution, we have remote monitoring. So if you have a remote monitoring solution, that's a great starting point. Also, there is a connected factory also predictive maintenance and device simulation for generating the device telemetry before having the actual hardware, and it helps you to start your development on the cloud as quickly as possible and not blocked by the device itself. So remote monitoring, connect and monitor your device to analyze data and improve business outcomes by automating process. And here is the GitHub link. Also, connected factory solution accelerate your move to Industry 4 to drive operational productivity and profitability. Connect and monitor industrial equipment and device in the cloud. And here is the GitHub repo with the open source code, both in C# and Java. With predictive maintenance solution, anticipate maintenance needs and avoid unscheduled downtime by connecting and monitoring your device for predictive maintenance. All right, now demo time. Okay, so for demo, let me bring the Azure IoT Hub. So for the demo, I have a couple of Azure resources already provisioned, and I have a SQL Azure, SQL Database, App Service Plan, IoT Hub, Service Bus, App Service, and Application Insight and Storage Account. Let's start with the registering a device. So I have a device application here.
Could you zoom in a bit? Could you zoom in a bit, the screen, so we can see the code a bit better and also the portal?
Sure. Let me... So this is the application. The application here is to register 10 devices in 2 buildings. So the first step for us in our IoT solution is to register our devices on the Azure IoT Hub portal. So this application is using C# SDK of Azure IoT Hub, and basically what I need the connection string to my Azure IoT Hub. If I go to Azure portal, let me zoom a little bit. Is it better now? I'll take that as a yes. So let me open my Azure portal, and from here I'll go to Azure IoT devices. All right, so if I unregister all devices, okay, register. So let me refresh from the beginning. So here I have 2 devices. When I run my device management application and I register my device, it creates 10 entries on Azure IoT Hub device portal. So if I refresh here, you see the devices, device 9, device 5, but as you can see here, the status is disabled. So at this point, these devices are all disabled and there is no way for them to communicate with Azure IoT Hub. In order for us to communicate with Azure IoT Hub, we need to activate these devices. So I'll select all the devices in both buildings and click on activate. So when I activate my device here, if I refresh, you see all of the devices are enabled now. Now, let me just stop my Azure function for a second. Now, from here, I can say connect. And by clicking on connect, what the program does is simulate the devices. And for each device, it submits the telemetry to the Azure IoT Hub. And from the Azure IoT Hub, I'll have all of the data pushed to the Azure Service Bus. Let me bring it to this screen. So this is my this is the tool Service Bus Explorer, and this is my Service Bus here, and that's my topic. And if I refresh, as you can see, I have some data here. Now, if I run my Azure function, let me bring my Azure function to the screen here. This is a pretty simple Azure function. As you can see, it's a Service Bus Trigger Azure function. And what I do here is deserialize the message and persist the data to SQL Azure. Just expand it here. As you can see, it's just get the message here. And I have insert statement, and it insert the data to my SQL Azure. Now, if I start the application, let me see how many records we have in our SQL. So this is my SQL Azure instance. And if I get a count before running the Azure function. So currently I have 626 records in the database. And if I run my Azure function, I'm expecting to have more rows here. Let me restart. Let's give it a couple of more seconds. Okay. Going back to my demo. Yeah, as you can see, the number was 695. Now it's more. Now, if I go to my service bus, first let me stop the application here. We disconnect. So no more messaging to the Azure IoT Hub. Now let me bring the Azure Service Bus Explorer messages. As you can see, there is no message in the Service Bus topic, which indicates all of the telemetry was consumed by Azure Function. And if I go to my SQL Server Studio Management and run my query again, you see the number is 846. And here I have the device ID and telemetry and also the temperature. So each device, as you can see, send a different telemetry to the cloud. Other demo I have here is for messaging, cloud to device messaging. So the first one is messaging. We started. Now, let me copy cloud to device. Now let me go to my Azure IoT Hub. So if I refresh here, device 2, this is my second device. And what I'm going to do is submit a message to device from the cloud. And I have this message. Copy, and as you can see here, in addition to the message body, we can pass key and value. I would say K1 and value 1, add property. So we have them here. Now if I send the message sent. So as you can see here, this is my device app. So from the cloud, I got the message and K1 and value 1. Let me show you another example. So now go to the other app, set as a startup project. This is going to be a direct method. So I have a method on my device named write to console. And if I call direct method, so that I have to provide the name of the method on my device and with a payload, which is a JSON. So I have a message. This is a direct method call from cloud to device. Now, if I call and there is something wrong with my app. It's not a surprise like any other demo. Okay, so we try one more time. Invoke the method. Connected. Connection is okay. Use the. Okay. Let me close. Maybe come back again. So direct method. Name of the method is write to console, and this is the payload. Okay, there is an issue, like a communication issue. Let's move on to the next demo. The next demo is about the Azure IoT Solution Accelerator. As you can see here, that's the landing page for our IoT Solution Accelerator. And here you see all of the project template. For example, if you click on the remote monitoring, here there are a lot of great information. For example, you can look at the interactive demo here in case you don't want to spend money on provisioning the service. So this is the interactive demo, and as you can see, it walks you through different features of the remote monitoring solution, which is the operator portal. and it's for device management. As you can see, there are hints and different sections on the portal for each device. One area for alarms and also for different type of device. And I'll let you later take a look. Let's move on to the other section. As you can see, there is a deployment guide and also GitHub repo for the .NET code and also the Java code. So here you get the solution based on all of the best practice. You get the infrastructure as a code plus the application, the solution code all together. And and if you want to create a new solution, you just click on Try Now, and it takes you to a page to provide information for provisioning the solution. So let me go back here. I already provisioned a solution here. As you can see, Azure Community Day. When you provision this one of these IoT Accelerator template, usually takes half an hour. So let me click on this solution, and that's some information around the solution. And if you want to delete the solution, you click here. And also there are some developer resources for you on how to customize the code, how to work with the code. And here, so this is the page. Unfortunately, we got one error, but it's good. This time we can enter all of the information. Let's say you have a solution. You just need to enter your deployment name. Let's call it my IoT solution. And as you can see here, you need to provide your Azure subscription. And here you have the choice of C# or Java. And the other option is solution. It is the location of your solution. Unfortunately, it's not available for all of Azure region, but it's good for US, Canada, Australia, Brazil, and a couple of others, as you can see here. And once you enter your Azure location, you just click on create, and it creates all resources for you. Now let's go to Azure portal. Let me see if I can find the resource group for. As you can see, there is one resource group created, Azure Community Day, and these are all of the resources created for this particular solution. We have a networking interface, network security group, public IP, app service plan, app service, virtual network, and a Cosmos DB, and a lot of other services here created. Stream analytics, virtual machine, Azure Maps. So this is the infrastructure. You have the GitHub repo for change for modifying the code, and also you have the portal here. So that if you want to customize the solution based on your need, you have some sort of documentation here. So this was one example for Azure IoT Solution Accelerator. It was remote monitoring. Other solutions are pretty much the same, connected factory, predictive maintenance, and others. And at the end, if you want to delete your solution, it's better to delete it from here. So you click delete, and it's just delete all resources from your Azure subscription. So let me go back to this slide. So here is some resources if you are interested to learn more about IoT on Azure. There is an Internet of Things show, great resource with great videos, interview with different Azure. There is a noise in the back. If you, and also Microsoft IoT School is another great resource. And last of Docs is the great Azure IoT Solutions. And with that, thank you so much for attending this session, and I hope it was helpful for you. And now, if you have a question, I'm ready to.
Good, thank you very much, Ehsan. That was really an elaborate walkthrough through an IoT Hub with all these examples and demos. That was really extensive. It was very nice to see. I especially liked your I think it was a custom-made demo solution or something, or their test solution.
Yes, it was. This demo was based on a POC that I have done for a client.